Hi, and welcome back to Inspired Alchemy with Lizzie. This is episode 60. I've made it to episode 60. It's crazy to me. Today is going to feel a bit heavier because I am going through some personal things, as I have mentioned, and they're kind of starting to stack up. But there's something I wanted to share today. And this will be coming out tomorrow, but I'm recording it now because I had the experiences today. I will start off by saying that I love birds. I've been feeding the blue jays and the black grackles in my backyard for many years, and they're all trusting me more and more as I regulate my nervous system and things like that. The crows, I was like, I never see crows, and now I'm seeing them a lot, but they stay at a distance. And I believe in one of my episodes, I shared that I asked for a sign, and a whole flock, a murder of crows, maybe it's called. They like 15 of the crows flew by. And I was like, okay. So then today, after everything, I was sitting outside and I was feeding the birds, and I was feeling kind of heavy. I started to feel really heavy about things that happened and transpired yesterday. And I asked the universe, I said, hey, can you send me a sign that I'm in alignment, please? Not expecting one so quickly. About 15 seconds later, 20 seconds later, a crow landed right next to me. And I started crying. For some, people don't believe in signs and symbols and things like that, and that's okay. And there are those of us that do. The fact that I've been wanting a crow to land in my yard, that I've been asking, that I asked for a sign, and it actually took the peanuts that I had, and it sat with me for a couple of minutes. It sat with me on the ground, and then it moved up over my head. And I was like, oh, okay, it's watching. And so I was like, okay, I'm still in alignment. Even though whatever I'm going through hurts and it sucks right now, I'm still in alignment. And this story that I'm going to tell you between the crow and something called a twig ant, which I didn't even know existed, but my neck does now because it's burning. I'm learning that, and I knew this before, that alchemy is not escaping life. It's learning from everything that life sends you and learning to find grounding and gratitude in each moment, regulation, and awareness, perspective, understanding. And that signs don't always show up the way we expect, but they show up when we're ready to notice them. And sometimes they happen quickly and sometimes they don't. Today it was very quick for me. And today I didn't get clarity from a meditation or a journal entry or breath work or whatever else. I got clarity from a crow and a twig ant and nature talking back to me today. So for me, the crow represents intuition, shadow work, truth, messengers between worlds. If you want to go into, they belong, or they are familiars to dark goddesses, or they are symbols of the dark goddesses of certain ones, including ones like the Morrigans, stuff like that. And normally I don't really go into that, but I've been researching more about these things and the energy of them, not so much the deity itself, but the energy that is connected to it, which is connected to nature, which we are connected to nature because we are part of nature as human beings. And the crow represents stepping into deeper alignment and, again, not being afraid of the darkness, but understanding it, using it to fuel you, to fuel your fire, to find your light. And It is the beginning stage of something new. The shadow, the breakdown, truth, rebirth through discomfort. And it I am sitting in discomfort right now. You can probably hear it in my voice. If you are sensitive to energy, you can feel it through what I'm saying. It's about not running from the darkness, but trying to understand it. Now, I want to go into the story of the twig ant. And I will preface this by saying that not everything that stings you or stings is an attack. Sometimes it's an awakening and an awareness. So, me being me, well, let me tell you the story first of the twig ant. I think I might have before, but my brain it's not all there at the moment. It's kind of foggy. So, I was sitting on a chair and I saw this ant. Never seen this kind of ant before. I'm like, that's really weird. Like, what the heck is that? And I saw it crawling and I was just watching it. And then I thought it went down into the ground. Because I did think I mentioned this, that I was like, oh, I think that thing is going to bite me. And then it ended up in my hoodie. Then it ended up down my shirt. So I ran into my bathroom because I already had felt it, but I thought it was a bite. But twig ants don't bite, they sting. And maybe I'll get a little nerdy and go into what twig ants are. But they kind of are long. Yeah, I'll get nerdy. They're kind of long and they don't bite. They actually have venom and they sting you. I didn't know. I didn't even know that they existed. So I go and I take off my shirt in the bathroom, take off my taking my hoodie, all that stuff, and I'm like trying to dump it out, and it falls into the sink, and it went down the drain. I'm like, okay, whatever, it's gone. I go back into the bathroom to go to the bathroom, and the twig ant is sitting there inside the sink basin, and I'm like, I sat there for a moment. I don't like to kill anything. I try to allow things to live. And so I'm sitting there looking at it. And I'm like, do I put it down the drain because it bit me? And my answer was no. That ant was just doing what nature intended it to do. It was just being itself. It was existing as it was meant to exist. And if I were to decide that just because it stung me, it didn't deserve to exist anymore and that I was going to kill it, then I would be no better than the people who tell other human beings that it's not okay for them to exist as themselves. I preach, I say preach, oh, I hate that word. I don't know why it comes out. I like to always say that we must exist as we are meant to, as who we are, and not to be afraid of who you are. So in that moment, I spoke to the ant and I said, hey, I'm going to take you outside. So I got a piece of paper and I said, crawl onto this paper and I'm going to take you outside. But please be patient as we go outside because I don't want to get stung again. And so I took it outside and it sat there for a second and then it ran off into its habitat to be what it is meant to be. It didn't deserve to die just because it hurt me. It didn't deserve to be punished because it was just being itself and what nature intended it to be. And while this might sound hippie to some people, it is my perspective and the alchemy and lesson of the twig ant. And of course, again, me being me, I looked up the spiritual meaning of a twig ant. And it's perseverance, determination, groundedness, earth, all of those things. And maybe I'll go back and read that for you because it was really interesting for me. But it's it's symbolic because it's not an attack. It's more of a wake up and pay attention. And that mixed with the crow is super powerful. Um, because there have been times lately where I'm like, why am I doing all the things that I'm doing? And I think that this twig ant was here to remind me that ants don't give up. They're stronger than they think they are. And when obstacles appear, they continue forward. The ant is the embodiment stage. It brings you back to your body, especially with the sting that is burning on my neck at this time. So we have the breaking down, we have the beginning, and we have the embodiment, all happening very quickly in the same morning. The crow spoke to my spirit, my soul. The ant spoke to my body. And I would say that it also spoke to my soul and my mind to kind of bring everything together into this alchemical process. And again, with the ant, it goes back to just allowing people to exist as they are without needing them to change. And then not punishing them or even yourself for just existing as you are. Most of us punish ourselves for just existing because we either feel too much or not enough or not worthy, whatever it is. We have told ourselves that we can't exist as we are, but we can. And that's one of the biggest forms of rebellion. It's existing exactly as you are and accepting yourself exactly as you are. Now, do we grow and change and evolve? Of course. But saying that you're bad or not enough for just existing, that's not true. And that goes back to me always saying you're not broken. Because you're not. And the ant and the crow together is it's confirmation and perseverance. So energetic, spiritual, physical, and groundedness. It's they teach trust and action, intuition and embodiment, showing up and staying rooted even in chaos. The crow tells you where to go, and the ant shows you how to walk there. For me, compassion and love, even though I talk about the shadow and people think that the shadow is bad or the darkness is bad, for me, it's where I find my light. It's where I find my compassion. It's where I find my love in the shadow of myself and the places that I need to look at. So, even in pain, discomfort, all of these things, we're guided. And just because we're stung doesn't mean that we have to react to it. We can choose compassion and we can choose love. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we are condoning the behavior of the other person. Well, the ant is the ant, but I'm speaking of other human beings. We might not condone their behavior, but if we act in alignment with love and compassion, it's how we move forward. It's how we heal, not the other person. The compassion and the love, while it might help the other person, it's how we create alchemy. We don't create alchemy from hate. This includes love for yourself first. So, this is a shorter episode today, but that's where I'm at. And as I am feeling the sting of the twig ant venom on my neck, I am remembering love and compassion and the feeling of being alive and staying grounded in a moment of chaos and fear, because I screamed when I saw it. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't like, when it was on me, I was like, this is not gonna be good. I have a feeling. I got scared, and I had a little girl scream come out. And I was on the phone with my dad, and he laughed at me. So as I'm sitting here and feeling that pulsing of that venom, it's reminding me that I am alive. And I have, in every moment, a choice to make. Am I going to continue to move and in an embodied, aligned way? Or am I going to let fear take the wheel and drive? And I refuse to let fear take the wheel anymore, because I've seen what alignment can do. I've seen what this energy work can do. I've seen what alchemy can do. And that's where I'm at. And I want to remind you again, in a world, in a society where they try to tell you that you're broken, you're disconnected, that we're divided, I want you to know that you are not broken. We are not disconnected. And we are not divided. Being your authentic self and standing in that is one of the biggest acts of rebellion. And I really think that the rebel souls need to come back. And this is inspired perpetual alchemy. And every moment you get to choose. You get to choose who you're going to be, if you're going to rise, and how you will react and respond. And with that, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me. I do not take it lightly. Time is a precious resource that we cannot get back. And until next time, keep creating alchemy. Keep going, even when things are heavy. If you need help, reach out. And I'm not just talking to me about me. I'm talking about in general. Find a therapist. Find a trusted person. Find a counselor. Find a group. Take care of yourselves. Love each other. This is where the ripples happen. Love yourself, because this is where alchemy starts.